So today we are going to do our corrective exercises. It's super important that you do not cheat when you do this. Make sure it's an honest attempt. If you do it wrong or you fail the rep, that's okay. Just do your best, try your best. Try not to cheat during these. Second big thing in these is make sure you're filming on 3 different sides. So ideally you'll be filming from the front, and then you'll turn, you'll do the rep from the side, 1 or 2 reps, and then you'll do it from the back, 1 or 2 reps again. So in total, you're gonna have about 6 to 8, maybe 6 to 9 total reps for each movement, so we can view what's going on in your individual exercise, and we can go from there. So make sure you're doing these 2 things. Do not cheat, and get 3 different angles. Make sure you have a place that is nicely lit. Also, one last thing, make sure you're having on form-fitting clothing. You don't want super loose clothing in here because that's going to inhibit us from identifying identifying your imbalances and what is actually going on with your movement. All right, guys, good luck on your movement assessment. So the first exercise we have is the single leg anterior reach. It means you're going to be on one leg and you're going to reach out in front of you. I'm going to play the clip here and then we'll talk through it. You can see I'm on one leg and I'm reaching forward. Turn to the side, same thing. And then I'm going to do one more side to the back. Okay, so let's rewind it here. Ideally, what I want you to see is you're going to be on one foot here facing the camera. I'm a little bit off to the side, but that's okay. After that, you're going to reach to your leg, your opposite leg, and then come back up. It takes a lot of strength right here. And you can see just how tight my hamstrings are right here. Holy hamstrings, I cannot extend this leg. You don't want to be perfectly straight. You want to have a slight bend in it, like you're going to do a little bit of weights. Ideally, a little less bend than this. This is a little bit excessive. But notice my back, it's nice and straight. But I want to show you 2 other things here when we switch angles. And this is why you do 3 sides. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is right here. So the first thing is you'll notice that my back, originally from the side, it looked straight. But if you look at it from this angle, I have a nice curve right over here, and it's actually not that straight. That means I have a little bit of weakness, a little bit of imbalance, and that's okay. These videos are all about showing me what you have so we can go in and fix it. The second thing that I'm noticing is this big, let me get a screen drawer for you. Ideally, that should be a 7. It's a little bit not right. It should look like this here. It should look more parallel to the ground and then a 7. But instead, this guy is down kind of like that. So that, again, is another imbalance right here for me to see. All these things are super important when you're doing these. That's why you should not cheat and give us an honest attempt when you do this. This is the single leg anterior reach. Up next here we have the single leg squat right here. One foot's going to be off the ground. You can see it's a squat just with one leg behind you. You're going to do what you can safely. Again, filming from the front, from the side, a couple repetitions on each viewpoint, and then once again from the back. I'm going to let it roll through one more time here, and then I'm going to tell you what I am seeing here for me. Okay, so back to the beginning here. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to pause it after I talk about a couple of things. So, the first thing I saw right away was my knee is going in and out. Also, my foot is not planted on the ground, which is contributing to my knee rolling in and out. And this is a couple of issues right in here mixed into one, but that's just one thing. The second rep right here, I do it a little bit better. I put my hands up like this. This allows us to see our lower body area a little bit more. Also, notice my shoulders, they are not parallel right now. So I have a couple of imbalances that I need to work on, and you can really see this knee waving in and out, which tells me a couple of things like glute instability there, for sure. From the side, we can see a little bit more. For starters, knee is right over the foot. That is very good. If it was too far forward or your heel was off the ground, we'd have a couple of ankle mobility issues here. My back is really flat right here. I have a good strong core going right here. And back up. Down and back up. So if you watch the last one right here, this 7 frame right here is a little bit better, a little bit more warmed up. But that is the whole point here. We want to see your imbalances, not you after you're warm right away. No real twisting or anything right there, and that is the single leg squat. This next one is the double leg squat right here. I'm going to play it through so you guys can watch. You're going to be feet shoulder width apart, and you're just going to go into a normal squat. I have my hands over my head, and you'll see why that comes into play in a little bit. All right, so that is it in a nutshell right there. Let's go back to the beginning, and you can see, again, ideally, you want your feet shoulder width apart. Mine are a little bit wider here, just because I have to compensate a little bit. And right at the bottom, let's see if we can rewind that just a little bit more. You can see that the knees cave into the feet right here, indicating a couple of problems here. You can also see, let's see if I do it again on my second rep. If we go back to the beginning, I rushed that one just a little bit, but you can see that my elbows and shoulders are not level there at all. That is telling me that we have some issues up top, and you'll be able to see those a lot coming up here on the side view. So right here, I have a major flared out rib cage right here, which tells me that my core is not tight right here. So this is the importance of wearing the proper clothing when you do this, so we can see what is actually going on. Yeah, you might have good ankle mobility and hip mobility, but if you have an inactive core, then that is an issue that we need to address right there. Last view is from the back. Ideally, I'd be going right towards the camera. My mistake here. And if I pause at the bottom here, you can kind of see the shift that I was talking about up top and a little bit on the hips right here. If I was perfectly perpendicular to the camera, you'd be able to see that a lot more. But this is the double leg squat right here. Make sure you do this from 3 different sides, front, side, and back, all towards the camera, so we can see your imbalances and help you fix them. Next up today, we have the alternating lunge. You can see here, I like to do a step back in my lunge. 2 reps on each leg, and then we're going to switch to the side view. Okay, so that was it. Some couple of things that I'm looking for when I watch this from you. Just like the single leg squat right here, I'm looking for any movement in the ankle, in the knee, sometimes the hip. I'm also looking at shoulders, looking at body twisting over here, especially to the front. This gives us a really good view of the front of that shin, the knee, and any imbalances we have. You'll notice that my right is weaker than my left. From the side, I'm looking at a couple of different things here. I'm looking at how far we go back. I'm looking at our knee. I'm looking at our back. Our head is at an alignment with our body right here. So we have a multitude of things to look at. One of the many reasons I love doing this one. So the next one up is a push-up. You're going to get into the obvious push-up position, hands underneath your shoulders, feet behind you, and hopefully together. If you cannot do it, make sure you're down on a knee, but that you still have that straight line right here. So right off the bat, I know that something is wrong because my body is not in a straight line. I have a nice bend right there, and that's not what you want to see. It should be straight, it should be flat, but when you do your push-up, you're going down and up. Down and up. You can see that at the bottom of my push-up, let's rewind it here, you can see that I actually have a little bit of an arching back. And to properly do a push-up, when you go down into this push-up position, your chest should be firing, your arms should be firing, you should fire your glutes, hamstrings, your quads, and your abdominals. And if you're doing all of that, you will not have this swoop in your back right here. So for me, I know that it's my abdominals. I have a weak core stability right now, and that is why you're seeing this swoop in my back. And when I come up, it's almost like I'm coming up with my chest a little bit before. You can see that my stomach is hitting a little before I'm hitting with my chest. Up next, we have the rotation with a pivot. So what you're going to do is start out feet shoulder width apart and arms extended together out in front of you. You're going to swing to one side, swing to the other side. Notice that when I swing to the side, the opposite foot pivots. This foot should not. Then I'm going to turn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn to face the back. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Now you'll notice that when I'm doing these, let's pause it off to the side here. When I swing out to the side, this foot should be pivoted. This foot should not be pivoted. If you are doing that, that just shows me that there's a couple other imbalances here. Once again, you can see that my ribs are flared out, indicating a weaker core right here. A tight hip flexor for sure, and we cannot get fully rotated on this side. Let's see if I can get it on the other side. See, that one was a little bit better right there for sure, indicating that there is some extra tightness on this side of our body. So that is the pivot with a twist. Make sure you guys do that from the front and a back view. Bonus if you can do it from a side view as well. Make sure we're getting those 3 viewpoints on each exercise. So that wraps it up for this video, guys. Make sure you're getting 3 different planes of view for each different exercise. It's going to come in super handy to allow me to plan for your workouts and figure out what your imbalances are and what you need to improve on during these courses of motion. If you want to send me other videos with you swimming, biking, running, lifting, doing whatever, please send me those videos. I'm always happy to watch a video, critique it, and take some notes for your benefit. So send me those videos. When you do these exercises, send me the other ones. Make sure it's 3 planes of motion, and I will see you soon.